Welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
And we're back, and it is Christmas in July. We have all our Christmas, some of our Christmas designs up here. What is this one, Eve? Is this, can't see.
That's Waiting for Santa.
Waiting for Santa.
And then this is Silent Night, and this is
10 Minutes to Midnight.
Yeah. Now this one was a idea that kind of Naomi presented and a little bit, and we talked about it with Beth and I and Naomi, and came up with an idea, and I designed it, and Beth stitched it. So it is truly a Three Sisters creative.
Yeah. So it's Santa Claus waiting. It's 10 minutes till midnight, and there's poor Mrs. Claus sewing his pants because he split his pants, and he's like anxiously like. Ugh.
Any of us that are a little overweight knows that this kind of thing happens, and always at the most inconvenient time.
Yeah. So he's trying to go on his rounds, but he's got to wait for her to stitch his pants. So this is available on our Etsy shop to buy.
Yeah, and I know some of you guys. I generally do. And I'm about to prove that not true, but I generally don't stitch Christmas until closer to Christmas. And it's hard for me to design Christmas if it's not Christmas. But this is the design that we opened our Etsy shop for.
Oh, yeah.
We opened it with that in a few bags and a couple of scissor fobs. So
that's like...
Yeah.
That's our history right there.
And you can tell because of the way I finished it. You know, I just kind of...
quickly did it.
Yeah, and every time I look at it, I'm like, do I want to refinish that somehow? But I don't want to ruin it trying to take it off of there, so...
You could stitch it again.
Beth could stitch it. I'm still waiting for her to finish stitching on the balcony, and I made some designs for Beth, one of her cats, and I think it's a good design, but it's hard for me to tell if it hasn't been stitched because it's kind of big.
It's on my WIP-GO list.
Anyway.
Are you going first,
I am
Steve?
going first.
Okay.
So first, what I'm working on is...
Keep your things to yourself. Rolling to me.
I don't know why they feel the need to give me these blank sheets of paper. I'm working...
That's come in handy. You can design on
this Bucru SAL, because, you know, I got the bag with all the stuff, and I thought, why not?
Is it a mystery stitch-along?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a mystery stitch-along. I started it a few minutes ago. I'm this far.
I'm this far.
It's not very big, this first one, and then the second one is also very thin, and then the other two are much bigger. Who knows why?
Eve, at some point you have to give me an update on that Narnia. Did you finally get the whole design for the Narnia one? I don't remember it.
Yeah, I got the whole design. You
have to show it to me.
I was doing so many things. Just like, you know. So for my WIP-GO, I don't remember which number that was called, but it was Silent Night by Stitching with the Housewives. And I put it in here.
So
I was holding it.
Bend
it. I forgot I had these, but it's like, you know, for school papers and stuff like that, where like if you're doing it home, you can write on it and then
erase, like erase a dry erase.
Yeah. So I put them in here, and on this side I have the pattern. And this one's kind of curly because I was keeping it in a project bag for And to All a Good Night. And to All a Good Night is 2 sheets long, this wide. And so I couldn't keep them both out like this and together, which this is really nice because the pattern is actually written this way. And it kept falling and sliding around and slipping out of my hands, and I thought, well, I'm just going to put this thing up. Should be easier. Anyway, I decided to...
So are you going to mark on that to keep track of your place or no?
No. So for WIP-GO, this was called, and for 10 days, I believe. It might be 15. I don't remember. But I started on it. It was a new start. And I put, did I bring it over here?
Ooh, on black. That's pretty.
Well, you remember it's designed to be on black.
Right.
I thought I brought it over here. Oh well. I remember I was going to put it on that blue fabric that I found at Hobby Lobby, 25 count Lugana. And I think it would have been beautiful on that blue. Well, it was the same width as this fabric. But at 25 count, it was not going to fit.
Oh.
And so I said, well, maybe I can do it on this fabric, because I've cut off the Boo Crew fabric, and I still have this much left, right? And I did the math, and it would work. And I started it. Where is it? That's the problem.
That's what it was leaking.
Can you see that? Yeah, neither could I.
See what? Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, and I tried doing some stuff to see if I could make it show up, and then I said it's not worth it to keep stitching on it. And I had this scrap of black, and as you can see, here's the edge.
Ooh.
It barely fits. This I measured it before I started, but this little snowflake here, that's the outer edge. And so it'll be about that over here too when it gets done. But it fits.
It's
So
long
is it
enough.
long?
It's long enough. It's square.
Well,
So
Oh, I see.
you'll be able to see better in a picture, but I have this sparkly thread in there. It's not Krynic, and I thought I brought the thread over here with me, but
Is it 12?
no.
Oh.
It's called Accentuate.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a Krynic.
that's really pretty though.
It's like a Krynic, but it's really thin, and it's very, very, very easy.
Oh, so you're right on the selvage over here, huh?
Not quite,
Almost.
but almost. Yeah.
But that's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be pretty. And ordinarily, I try to not stitch on black, because I know all the tricks, you know, where you can, and sometimes I'm like holding it up to the light going like this. Just because I personally like color. Not because I don't like black. Black is cool. It has its places. But I would much rather stitch it on something else. I mean, and I
That's
consider...
like why I don't stitch on white anymore.
Yeah.
Just, you know,
And
do anything.
I looked at a teal that I had, and I thought, teal sky, no.
But I think it's
But
really
it looks-
because it's
it-
nighttime.
Yeah,
and
I think it's going to be
winter.
beautiful. Now, I was telling
It's
Beth
big.
that,
It's a big design.
yeah, the ones that she did last Christmas are pretty big. That Accentuate, I love the way it looks, and you'll be able to see in the picture that Naomi's going to put here. I love the way the Accentuate looks on the snowflakes, but there's a little church right here, so I'm not going to put it on there. And actually, I'm not using the charted color. I don't think I'm using the charted colors for any part of it. Now, I have a lot of these charted colors, but I bought a Weeks Dye Works icicle for the white. It's a beautiful white with a light blue in it, and I don't want to use it's charted in 12 grain, and that's whitish, you know, but I really love this
What's
icicle
12
color.
grain?
It's just a white. It's an off-white kind. I mean, it's white, but
It's not
a
white,
soft white.
but yeah, it's kind of, it's not eggshell precisely. It's more white than that, but I decided to use icicle. And this teal, I didn't have the teal color that's charted, and I wanted to start it, and I just found a teal in my stash, and I honestly don't even remember the name of it. If you're interested, watch my video. By that time, I'll look it up. And and anyway, so I'm slowly plugging away at my WIP-GO challenge for this. I have no fear that I will accomplish that challenge because I'm really loving how that looks and enjoying working on it.
That's pretty.
And then for cross-stitch camp, I decided to continue with my berry SAL by doing the berry here and stitch all the things. And I chose this checkered fabric. I like the way it's looking on this fabric. However, can you see the needle?
Yes,
I have trouble seeing the needle,
I can see it.
so I'm not
You see.
sure what I'm going to do.
I like it. I think it looks really good.
Yeah, up close it looked good. When I was standing over there, I didn't have my glasses on. I
Yeah,
couldn't
but-
see it, but
I think it looks fine, Eve.
Anyway,
And I like it on that fabric because it looks like a sewing fabric. Like you would, make stuff out.
I like this fabric, and since I'm so bad at counting, it's actually helping me.
Because it's gridded.
However, you might notice, you might notice that this H is not quite done because I ran out of thread, and I don't use this color again until right here. It says all the, and then you use that color down here for things. Well, this gridded fabric helps, but I am not going to count all that. So I'm going to go ahead and do this color here, and then when I get ready to start on that, I'll do this the rest of the H over here, and then go there, because I don't feel like taking out stuff. And this is really hard for me to see, to take out, especially when it has a little portion right here that's a 1/1. And I was like, I don't even know if I'm making a proper X. And so if I wasn't sure if I crossed it, I just did it again.
Is it very small? Or it's just,
it's just really little. So lastly, I have some FFOs.
That's very cool. I saw those.
This is the Summerberry collection, and this I finished. I tried to make it kind of look like an island.
Yeah. That's cute. We'll do some close-up photos. That's so cute.
oh yeah, with the little palm tree.
Yeah, and then
So the sunglasses, are they the pin set? For
they're part of the pin set, and then this one, I love flamingos. So instead of an ordinary button, I put a flamingo button. See? And this is the rest of the pin set. And then this one, remember I said that Helen D had made some s'mores. Well, the only thing that is missing from this little thing for the s'mores is a campfire. So I made a little campfire. And
That's adorable.
there's the little s'mores in the fire. I know they wouldn't have the graham crackers on them yet. But, you know. And there's a little lantern there. So
Let me see. That's so cute. Oh my gosh. That's adorable. Stop being so creative.
anyway, this one, I had a devil of a time sewing it down. So it's tacked down more than I did the others. So there's no little fluffy ends or anything on it. But you know, you do what you need to do in order to get it done. I tried doing it pretty. Finally, I was just like,
That's cute. That's
so
really cute.
that's what I've been doing. I have not been making a dragonfly. I am so sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're behind on the dragonfly business.
We went and got more resin stuff.
We weren't able to go until Tuesday, and then I just wasn't feeling well.
And was busy.
Hmm?
And we were busy.
Well, we were busy Monday.
Oh well. Every day's busy.
Yeah. Anyway. That's
Anyway, we owe you a dragonfly.
Hmm.
So, I mean, they owe you a dragonfly. I have nothing to do with it. Am I going next?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, so I am, let's see, oh, I gotta mark my row before I forget. Okay, I am 12 rows away from finishing Hannah's top. Here it is. It, there's the front.
Doesn't look like a bra anymore.
No, it looks weird because it's hanging on the needle weird, but there's the front. It has that garter stitch center section.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the sides. And here is the back. I finished the tab in the back. It splits on the side here. You can see there's where you cast off right here on the side. And then you do the back flap like that. And I think it looks really good. And now I'm just working on that front flap. And it's just like 12 more rows of the front flap and it'll be done. So, and I was admiring this back flap and I'm like, I really like my tension. I really like my bind off. I took a 2 sizes bigger needle and did the bind off, which I've heard about doing. And it's nice. It doesn't pull in. It's just nice and straight across. So that I'm very proud of. I feel really good about this top. It's been really nice. And the fabric, I don't know if you can get it on screen, but I love the drape of this fabric. This is Bamboo Pop is what it's called. It's 50% bamboo, 50% cotton in a DK weight. And I love, this is pre-blocked too. And I just love the drape of the fabric, if you can see that. It's just so comfy and soft and, feels really, really comfy.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud of this, and I'm excited to send it to her, in Connecticut where she is for the summer. I think it'll be nice there. So that's me, and then so I'm working on my Tour de Fleece, which is our July spinning event. And last night we had a spin in at the yarn store, and it was a lot of fun. Here's just a couple. I didn't take a lot of pictures, but I just took some pictures of like a group, like all of our wheels together on in the floor. It was fun. I don't know how many people there were, but we drew prizes. So I filled out my. I turned it in. I don't have it, but I filled out that little questionnaire. And for the what would you name a sheep if you had it, I said Susan Nelly. If you were here last week, go back and review. I said Susan Nelly on there. And I answered all my questions. I did some research and all that. But anyway, so for everything we turned in, we got tickets, and they had a little drawing. They're going to do more drawings, as we go. But I actually won a prize, and this is Icelandic Lopi pencil roving, 100% Icelandic wool, and it's red. And
it's
pencil
really
roving,
pretty.
Yeah, don't touch it, Eve. You will not like the way it feels, because you don't like scratchy wool. It's a little scratchy, and it's here. You can feel it.
Ooh,
Kindergarten field time. Feel it. Touch it. Eve, touch it.
Feel it.
Just
I don't
touch
want
it. Just touch it.
Actually, it feels kind of like a Brillo pad.
No, it's not that bad. Anyway, pencil roving is this you can see it almost looks like yarn, but it's already sort of drafted into a very thin, group of the wool, and so it's easy to spin nice and thin. So this will be fun. And I had this idea that the Cotswold that I'm spinning is like a gray, light gray. And I was thinking I want to make myself a sweater from it. I'm planning a cardigan, I think, in my mind. And so I thought, well, this would make a really nice accent, as well as the Naomi Jacob wool that I have that's dark brownish, almost black. I thought with the two of those, I could actually do some sort of light color work or you know, maybe around the collar and around the cuffs or something. And that's what I was thinking about with the Jacob wool. But then I got this last night and I was like, that actually would be really cool. And in that sweater book I have, it has some sort of slip stitch designs where you use color, and it looks really pretty. And I thought this would really do the trick on that. So anyway,
It would look really pretty as an accessory too.
Yeah. So I've got that. That was fun, and I've just been going gangbusters on this, so I really haven't worked on anything else. And but my favorite designer, Casapinka, just announced a new mystery knit-along.
I am not doing it this time.
You're not doing it this time. And I still haven't finished the last one.
Me either.
But this, she said, it's called Sharon Air. Her cat Sharon from Security. It's like a whole airline theme. But she says it's a different shawl construction. It's a new shawl construction for her. She's like, and don't ask me what it is. I'm not going to tell you. So I'm sort of intrigued about that, because I thought if it's another rectangular shawl, I probably am not going to do it and spend, $150 on yarn for that. So, but she said it's a new design, and it's 4 colors, and they don't have to be contrasting. They can be blends, they can be speckles, they can be whatever. The shawl itself doesn't rely on color contrast like some of her designs have in the past. So then I started thinking, it starts mid-August and goes for 6 weeks, which takes you to the end of September, right? Well, guess what happens in October? Our symphony season starts in October. So I thought it would be fun, and it'll be starting to get a little cool-ish at night in November, December. Like November, I have a concert. We have concerts every single weekend. Like boom, 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 4 in a row between the classics and the pops concerts and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I am going to make myself a dark colored, like blackish, grayish, dark colored shawl. And it will be my symphony shawl. Because the one Casapinka that I have, the first one, the Sharon show, is so bright. It's like that Mardi Gras. Everyone tells me it's Mardi Gras colors. Green and purple and gold and brown. And so it's very hard to wear unless I'm wearing solid black. And even then it's like very loud. I love it, but I don't wear it a lot. And the one I'm working on that's halfway done is beautiful. It's in blues and purples that I love. So that's a color. So then I thought, what if I actually made something in grays? Like I've seen some people have made those past few shawls in like a black and gray gradient colors, and so I got permission from the committee this morning because of some unforeseen circumstances that I will tell you about in stories. There's a little extra surplus of cash in my house right now because
God forbid we save it.
I'll tell you. No. Well, I know, but it's like I'm sad about something, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But because of that, I was like, so do you think I can buy yarn for this new mystery knit-along? He's like, fine. Anyway, so last night when I was at the yarn store, I was starting to look, and there's some beautiful yarn there. So I have some ideas kind of about, like, I want a really dark, somber looking night colored shawl. So that's going to be my symphony shawl. That's going to be my next knit along. It doesn't start till mid-August, so I have time to finish things. As soon as I finish this, I'm going to work on Rachel's shawl again and try to get that into a place. And, you know how that goes. So I think that is everything for me, besides my 2 major stories. So
Okay. Just a second.
Take it away, Beth.
I just found out I had a.
She got to put a
here.
thread. She got to put a thread. She always has to put a thread.
No, I had a big major mistake here.
I know. But you can
I'm
work on it.
unstitching right now.
Well, you can unstitch after you talk.
Yeah. So, so I'm almost finished with my. The only thing I've been working on since the beginning of the month. Well, I worked one day on, on the July rabbit, but and I talked about that last week. So since last week, the only thing I've been working on is my.
Can I interrupt you?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to say something. One of our viewers requested to watch me spin. I meant to mention this.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
And I actually, they've been bugging me to do a YouTube channel. I'm reluctant because I edit this one every week, and I don't want to have to do it twice. So that's why
I almost
dragging my
never
heels.
have to do anything with mine.
I know, but I'm better than you.
Because
so.
when
No,
you're because when
I don't edit
you're
mine.
up close and it's just you,
it's easy.
you can show it close enough.
No,
and
I
you
know
can-
that. You're right. But anyway, my daughter's been saying, "Mom, you should do Instagram Reels." I have a Instagram account for my my craft and fiber art. It's called, I don't remember what it's called.
Crafty
Hold on.
Gnome?
But I don't remember if it's the Crafty Gnome
I think it's the crafty gnome.
or what. Hang on one second.
We'll put a link below.
No, we can't put a link.
Why?
YouTube will not allow me to link Instagram, so I have to tell you what it is. Okay.
Can't you put it in the link
I'll
tree?
type it right here. No, I'll just type the name of it right
Okay.
here. Okay. It's The Crafty Gnomee, Gnomee. The Crafty Gnomee, Gnomee on Instagram. And on there, I made it because my daughter's like, "You should make reels, Mom." And I'm like, "I will try it." So I made a reel of me spinning my firecracker yarn, and it's on Instagram. And I plan to, and on that channel you can see all my close-up pictures of all this nonsense that I do. And I need to be better about posting, but I plan to. Anyway, so if you'd like to see a video of me spinning yarn, you can find it on my Instagram. And I have already put the name of my Instagram on the bottom of this video right here. And I can put the name of it in the description as well. I can't link to it, but you can find me that way. So, sorry to interject.
That's okay.
I just had that thought while you were fixing your thread.
My thread. So, like I said, since last week, I've only been working on my camp project. Partly because we were interrupted with the 4th of July and all that, so I didn't stitch a whole lot on it all the time. So I was getting a little bit paranoid about, because I wanted to get it finished in time to spend the 10 days on one WIP-GO and 10 days on the other. And because I've gotten actually where I can't seem to work on, I get pretty monogamous about it. But it helps because then I can get a lot more done. But I have all this stuff waiting in the wings that I'm like, I want to start this, I want to start that. So I don't know. Every week I tell myself, I can do this. I can be more flexible. I can work on more than one thing. And do I do it? No, I don't. But anyway, so actually I want to take this little, off. Needle minder off. Whee! Because so that you can see it better, because it's such
I'm
a
surprised
small
how much
design.
you've done on that.
But so
cute.
this is all but done. The only thing I have left to do is a little wisp on his mug, and it'll be
Hot
done.
cocoa.
Yeah,
If a snowman drinks hot cocoa,
he'll melt from the
Won't he
inside
melt?
out.
that would be kind of
Sad.
ugly.
But he needs hot cocoa because he's very cold.
And why
But
would a
so-
snowman be wearing a hat and a scarf?
So he was getting warm. You put a scarf on them and you put a hat on them when you build the snowman. It's very
But
cute.
snowmen need to stay cold. It should be
But,
an icy drink.
Yeah. So
That's so cute, Beth.
so it's really cute. Yeah. It's
And it's fast.
the only change I made was that I changed this the white on the steam and the snowflakes it was charted as two different colors. This is a DM. This was charted as DMC 3865, I think it is. It's an off white or
this
it's
color
a white
right here.
Yeah, but this is I used B5200, which is a little bit brighter white. You can't really
You
tell.
said B5200, and I'm thinking Love Shack, baby, Love
Yeah.
Shack.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
But that's the B52s, and I heard them in person once.
Okay.
Okay, I keep looking
But-
down. Sorry. I keep looking down, and I know you can't hear it on the video, but it's really loud. My dog is chewing on her toenails.
Oh, funny.
Anyway,
Sorry.
so if you hold the 3865 and B5200 side by side, you can kind of tell the difference. One's a little, the B5200 is a little bit brighter.
Here's 3865, and that's B5200, so we can take a picture.
Yeah. Anyway, but so I just decided to use the B5200 because I like that better for snow. I like the white. The white on the snowman is toasted marshmallow. I think it's a Classic Colorworks color, and then the two blues are Weeks Dye Works. But the other colors are all DMC. So you can see in person, you can see a little bit of variegation in the snowman, and then of course in in the lighter blue of his hat, it's really noticeable. The darker blue is Weeks Dye Works navy, and it's not very heavily variegated. It's a little bit. You can kind of see it a little bit. But the lighter blue is Weeks Dye Works sky, and you can really see the variegation in that. It's really pretty. And like I said, the rest of it, this is all DMC stuff. So, yeah, it was really pretty. And I made a mistake while I was doing the red in this little mug, and I almost left it, but then I thought, no, I don't want to do it. And I ended it. It was one of those where, in crossing the X, I accidentally crossed over two X's.
Oh.
I mean, two
Yeah.
threads, two spaces, whatever. But it was like way over here, and I had already come all the way over here, and I was almost done. I was about to tuck it in and finish it, and I realized what I had done, so I undid it all. But that was this morning, so so all I have left, like I said, is one little wisp of steam on his mug, and it'll be done, and I'll have a finish. So
Very nice.
So I do have another little ornament project, but I don't think I'll work on that unless I have time at the later on. I don't know. So because if I finish this today, which I shall, then I can start on my WIP-GO projects a little bit early, because I looked at my calendar and I thought, well, if I start no later than the 11th, then I have 10 days for one and 10 days for the other. So I could start, what's today, the 9th? So I could start 2 days early. So I don't know. But yeah, so the next one, so I decided that the next thing I want to work on is I talked about this last week, is Hello Pumpkin.
Yeah.
And part of it, the reason I got bogged down, I think, is because it's, there's all these little motifs. And so since I usually am, a color completist, I tend to use, this color until I'm, I can't use it anymore. And but the way this is designed, it's just all little individual motifs, and so I have to sort of concentrate a little more on skipping around from thread to thread. So that's why this owl doesn't have any pupils in his eyes, and he doesn't have any there's a second color in his feathers here that's not there. And I think this fabric is 28 count, and I think it's avocado dyed, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's 28 count even weave, and I dyed it with avocado skins and pits, so it's kind of a pinkish color.
That's so weird. You wouldn't think.
Yeah, avocados dye pink.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's slightly pinkish color. Yeah, so I haven't done that in a long time. Dyed with anything other than RIP dye, but yeah, like there's coffee dye, tea dye, of course, and then you can dye with avocado pits and various other things. But yeah, so hopefully that's what I will work on after I finish this. And I don't think I have we've gone shopping a little bit, but yeah, haven't done anything else. So that's it for me.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Well, you have any stories, Eve?
Yeah, I said at the beginning that I had a little story. What was it?
About your phone. Yeah, so apparently we can't call Eve. I try to call and it goes straight to voicemail, like it's off. And I try to call and I try to call. Finally, I have to use like something like Facebook Messenger and call her through that. And I'm like, your phone's not ringing.
And her husband's phone wouldn't even call me. And so it wasn't her phone, it was definitely mine. And but I had Beth call me and that came through. I was like, well, what the heck? And I restarted my phone. And I told Naomi there was an update to my phone that I didn't have any choice about when. It just said, your phone's updating in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It said that, and then it updated right then. And it didn't take a really long time. You know how sometimes updates,
Take a while.
take forever? This one didn't take very long. It was just like, done, right?
Uh-huh.
And then she wasn't able to call me.
Yeah.
And then my father has a whole bunch of therapists that come to the house, but they don't schedule in advance. They schedule kind of like, hey, I was wondering if I could come see him, today, or, just something like that. And, we're not doing much, so, okay. But except for the speech therapist who was supposed to be here at a particular time. And I was kind of dozing, waiting, for her to come. And I looked at my phone and I said, I have a voicemail? The phone never rang.
Oh, no.
So I listened to the voicemail and she had just said she was going to be late. And then Naomi had another problem trying to get through to me again. And I was like, this is not okay.
No.
Did you make a mistake?
No, this is not.
Oh.
Literally
I hate when they do that.
10 rows from the end. Okay, sorry.
So I called my team of experts at T-Mobile. Each individual person has their own team of experts.
We'll see.
Yeah, they're just sitting around waiting for you to call.
Because I'm stupid and I believe that. So I call, and the guy, I could not understand a word he said. He was like, the phone was over there and he's over here. Plus he was from somewhere. He had an accent that did not sound like a U.S. accent. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of different people live here in the U.S., but after a time, their voices start to Americanize. Does that sound right to you?
A little bit.
Yeah. Because they're used to hearing English and speaking it so much that, it's a thing to me. What I hear. And this is as a person who lived in Europe and would hear English spoken by people who heard mostly their own language. It just sounds different. And I could barely understand this guy. And it's okay. I don't mind that my person that I call is in some other country. I understand the economics of why they do that. And I'm glad that those people have jobs. Yay, you know. But I would still like to be able to understand them. And finally he says, well, I don't know what's going on, because he tried to tell me some nonsense and I was like, no, that's not it. And they sent me up to another person, which means I've been on the phone now for like an hour. And he's like, do you have another phone that we can call you on? The higher up guy. No, this is it. This is my only phone, which is why this is a problem. And he said, well, you have to do this and go into your system folder and do this and do this. And that'll fix the problem, but you can't do it while we're on the phone. Are you sure this is going to? Yeah, I'm positive. And what it is that I'm with T-Mobile. T-Mobile is updating their system. So since they're updating their system, I have to be on a lower thing. Instead of the 5G, I have to be on the lower one than that.
On 4G?
I don't know what it is. But I was like, oh, since you're upgrading, I get lesser service? What the heck? So that was annoying. And then my other story is that Beth says to me, I can't make that thing unless you make a dragonfly. And I'm like, okay. Completely forgot until this morning.
Oh no.
Because of 4th of July, I grabbed all the stuff. I had about, I don't know, I had a pile like that of beads on the table. And because I was going to organize them and get some stuff done. No. And so I scooped them. So they're somewhere in the pile of stuff, which I will locate so that I can make the dragonfly for Beth. Hopefully, before you view this video, we'll have made it, and then I'll try to get it up very soon. It doesn't take her long once I get my act together and make things. So, well, she doesn't put them up, I do, but I mean to make the resin thing.
Yeah. Well, that's fun.
Okay.
Well,
So-
when you were talking about your phone, you reminded me of my computer, not the one I have now, but the one I had before. I had just bought it, like it was maybe a year old or something, and this was many years ago. But so it actually, DVDs were the new thing. They had been out. They had come up with them maybe a year, 2 years, something like that.
Can you remember the big floppy disks?
Yes, and so I remember thinking, why would you buy DVDs when you have everything on videotape? Why would you buy it again? But so my computer came with a DVD player. But so
You mean the DVD drive?
yeah, you could put a DVD in there and view it on the computer. So, but I had, not bothered to get any DVDs. But then the X-Files came out on DVD. So I was gonna get, I think the X-Files movie, came out on DVD. So because I had it on VHS, but I thought, well, okay, I'll buy a DVD for that. So I went and got the DVD and at Best Buy, and I took it home and stuck it in my computer, and it was like all pixelated. The screen was like, you couldn't really see anything, and so I thought it was the DVD. So I took it back to to Best Buy, and I exchanged
So it was
it.
the first DVD you ever owned.
Mm-hmm. So I exchanged it, and I took it home, and this new DVD, same problem. So I talked to the people at Gateway, and in those days I had a Gateway computer, and they had a brick and mortar store in town in
Oh
Little
my
Rock.
gosh, that's a long time.
And
ago.
yeah, and so I talked to them, and they said, well, try a couple of different DVDs, try renting some DVDs, and see if they'll work, and we'll see if it's the DVD or the machine. And so I rented You've Got Mail, and
That's how old this story is.
and something else. Oh, I think I had a DVD that had come with the computer. It was like a musical. It was Sting, and
That's
some
funny.
and like music videos or something, and that worked, and You've Got Mail worked, and so I called the Gateway people, and I said, and I actually called the people at the store, and so so I said, well, these other DVDs work, but this one that I really wanted to watch, it doesn't work. They said, well, all the new DVD technology, and they're always they've coming up with new things, so that's probably why it doesn't work. And I was like, so you're telling me that the computer that I just bought
It's
a
already
year
out of
ago
date.
is obsolete? And they're like, well,
That's
so
they love that answer.
yeah.
Like,
Blowing smoke is what
Right.
they're doing.
Yeah, so I think I took the computer, the hard drive, into the store, and they were not able to find anything wrong with it, right? Supposedly. So I called Gateway, the actual company, apart from the store. So while my computer was still at the brick and mortar store, so I called up Gateway and I said, what the problem was, and they said, oh yeah, there's a patch for that. There's a patch for that. So I called the store back and I said, I just talked to Gateway, and they said there's a patch for that, and they said, oh, we looked for that, and we couldn't find it, So it was already like kind of, so I thought, well, so they said, well, we won't be able to, it was like the weekend or something. They said, we won't be able to get to it till Tuesday.
Oh, see.
And I said, what? And so I was like, yeah, it meant I was going to be without my computer for like several days. And so I called Gateway again, and I said, is this something that I could install myself? And they said, yeah, you just go and look at this up and blah, 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 blah. So I called the store back, and I said, are you guys still open for, and they said, well, like for another 30 minutes. So I got in my car, and it was all the way across town. So I drove all the way across town, and I was like, give me that.
Oh my gosh.
And I did it myself. So I was like, y'all should pay me. Fortunately, it was still like under warranty. That's how new the computer was.
Yeah, my gosh.
So it didn't cost me anything. But I was like so mad. I'm like, why? That was such a waste of time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But, yeah.
I
So.
hate that kind of stuff. They just don't want to try. That's I see that all the
Well,
time.
and some knucklehead,
Yeah, they don't want to, but they don't want to try.
but
They don't
you
want
know,
to extend
at
their brain
at
at least
Best Buy-
1 second longer than.
You can get some guys that will go the extra mile. The geeks at Best Buy.
Yeah.
Because like when I first tried to upgrade to Windows 10,
Mm-hmm.
my computer would not upgrade. Wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
They keep trying to get me to upgrade the Windows again, and I'm like, oh.
Well,
But one guy he was
Mm-hmm.
doing it for a long time. I had to pay, and he got in trouble because for how long it was taking. And he said, she paid for this to be done,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what it's taking. And he just did it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Naomi, we interrupted your story.
No, it's okay.
I was going to say that
Excuse me.
the computer that I have now, when I was in Little Rock, I had it not very long, and like if I left it on and I got up to to go to the bathroom or to whatever, if I was gone for any length of time, the screen would go dark, but then like, you know, like I could understand like going to screensaver or something like that, but it wouldn't come back. It would just be black. And so, so I would have to like do a hard shutdown, and you know, and so this one friend of mine said something about, well, it could be the power supply, but I forgot that he said that, and I was, you know, trying to figure out what's wrong with it, and because again, it was relatively new, and so I ended up taking it to Best Buy, and they did whatever they did, and I think they found out that it was the power supply, and so so I had paid a little bit extra for them to they had to like take all my stuff that was on the hard drive and make a copy of it, and then do whatever they had to do, and then they were supposed to put everything back, and so, and again, I had to drive all the way across town, and so I had driven out there, and I don't know, I had to like make 3,000 or 4,000 trips, it seemed like, because I would go all the way out there, and it was okay, it's all done, and I'd take it home, and it's like, okay, it still has the same problem, so I had to take it all the way back, and then
it's worse than a car dealership.
Yeah, and I think that's when they figured out it was the power supply, and so they oh no, they had the first time they had figured it was the power supply, but they had the one that they put in there had like it was like a used one. It was a refurbished one or whatever, and so it had like a broken pin or something. So they had to replace it again, and so then they fixed it, and I got it home, and then like I booted it up, and there was nothing on there. They had not put all my files back on the computer, so I had to pack it up and drive all the way back across town again. And it was like, ugh. So yeah. And then when I got here, I think it was around the time there was some upgrade, and I went back to Best Buy and had it upgraded. Yeah.
So I took a work computer once to get it worked on at an excellent place that would work on our computers. That one of the guys there would come in our business to do it sometimes. I took it in there, and I realized I forgot a CD. It was guitar, the one that after you got married, I said I liked the guy that played guitar at your wedding, and she couldn't find his CD, but she got me one that was similar to that, and I loved it, and so I listened to it often at work, and it was in the computer, and I called them and I said, is there a guitar CD in my computer? And they said, yeah, we're loving it. I got it back, you know.
That's
But,
oh my gosh. So, okay. So where do I start? First off, I'm going to tell you about my McDonald's adventures today. So, I have my son with me, and sometimes I like to go to my McDonald's, but I was like, I'll just go to the Eve's McDonald's. I call it your McDonald's. And I go there.
It's not my fault.
And the line was heck long, so I was like, I'm not going to do that. So, well, actually, I was like, oh, the line. Eli goes, why don't we just go in? And I was like, I don't want to. And he goes, well, we could fill our own Cokes, because whenever we go to the drive-thru, see how I've been drinking it down? That's how they fill it up.
Yeah.
But so I was like, that's
and
actually
last week we got real Cokes
real
instead of Diet
Cokes,
Coke.
yeah, instead of diets. So I was like, yeah, you know what, Eli, you're right. Let's go in, because he wanted to get himself stuff. So I go in, and I order from, so new, like a just born child, and I ordered 3 Diet Cokes and an ice cream cone. I didn't tell you I had an ice cream cone.
So, you didn't buy me an ice cream cone.
No, I did not. So I ordered an ice cream cone, and Mr. First Day on the Job took my order and handed me the drink cups and didn't say anything about the ice cream cone. Usually that comes almost right away, and I was a little bit worried, like, how am I going to fill the Cokes? Will I have my ice cream? Da da da. But they didn't come and hand me an ice cream cone, so I went to fill the sodas up. But before I went to fill it up, I said, "Can I have a drink carrier?" I said, "Can I have a drink carrier?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know. I'll have to check." And I'm like, "You don't know if I can have one, or you don't know if you have them, or you don't know where they are?" So he goes and he asks a guy back there, who's kind of, he's like, I can see he's kind of one of those guys filling the orders, right? Which I'm wondering, why didn't he get my ice cream? But so he asks him for a drink carrier, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and he goes and gets one. He hands it to the kid, and the kid gives it to me. Okay, great. So I go fill up my drinks, and I spill them all over because I'm like, I want to get them full, and they're so full. They're, how it is. And so I'm putting them in the thing, and I'm like, I never got my ice cream. So I had my receipt, fortunately, and I walked up, and I'm like, I never got my ice cream cone. I said to the guy who gave the young kid the drink carrier, so I figured he knew what he was doing. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I can get that for you." So he goes, and he walks up to me, and he's holding my ice cream cone. He's got some of his fingers on the paper, but 2 of his fingers on the cone that I'm supposed to eat, and I can see they are glistening because they're wet. And I'm like, gross. And I said, so he brought it to me, and I said, "Thank you. Now, can you go get me one that you don't touch with your fingers?" And he looked at me like, so he turned around. I see him throw it away. And then he gets napkins to hold the thing, and he hands it to me with a napkin. I said, "Thank you very much." And I went on my way. But I was like, you are not handing me food with your wet fingers touching it. Like, I know you have gloves back there, sir. Like, this is food. I'm supposed to eat that part, and you're putting your finger on it.
I was
and how
watching.
do you not, like, that's why it has paper on the bottom.
Yeah, I was watching
Gross.
somebody. I don't know where I was, but I remember looking at her hands, going, "Is she wearing gloves? Is she wearing gloves?" And then later on, I saw the glove on her head, but I was like not convinced that whatever she was
one
doing.
time I went through a drive-thru and ordered an ice cream cone at McDonald's, and she handed me. She goes to hand it to me. I can't remember now. I see that her finger was in the ice cream, and she hands it to me, and there's a dent in the ice cream from her finger, but she puts her hand down like that real fast, and I'm like, "You touched my ice cream." "No, I didn't." "Yes, here's your fingerprint in my ice cream. I want a different one, please." Like, if you were wearing a glove and you touched my ice cream, I would figure probably the glove is pretty, freshly put on your hand. But that's your finger that you probably had up your nose a minute ago. Like, I'm really sensitive about my ice cream cones. But on the other hand, I really love McDonald's ice cream cones really bad. They're so good. Okay,
So I worked food service for many years. Well, some years. And there was one girl, you're required to wear gloves while you're serving food. And you're supposed to change them, 1, if they get dirty, 2, if you touch a cleaning cloth, 3, if you move from one area of the kitchen to another area of the kitchen. In other words, every 5 seconds. And this girl used to like to keep a cleaning cloth right here by her when we were serving the food. And she would take that cloth and wipe down stuff and then put it back over there. And I said, "You can't do that. You have to change your gloves." And she goes, "No, I don't. They're still clean." I wasn't her boss, so I couldn't do anything about it. But I was like, ew.
Yeah, you're gonna get the health inspector on us.
So gross. Okay, speaking of health inspector, I started watching a new show on Hulu.
Hulu? I don't know that
I'm
one.
like, is it Prime, Netflix, Hulu? I can't remember, but it's called The Bear, and it is so good. I've watched, I think, 3 or 4 episodes last night. It's about a chef. And it's a little stressful,
I think
but
it's
it's
on
really
Netflix.
good. I think it's Netflix. It's called The Bear.
I think
Anyway,
I saw a
really,
preview for it.
I don't know. It could be Hulu, it could be Netflix. I don't know. But look it up. It's very good. Okay, so, major story. 2 major stories. One, the other day, I get a text from my fishing guide. I call him mine, although he's not mine. I do not own him. But, and the river in Glen Canyon, the Colorado River in Glen Canyon got up to 67 degrees. So he's like, I have to cancel everything through September. And he's like, hopefully temperatures should drop back down in October, but I expect we're going to have 70-degree river between now and then. So we'll see what we have left, which makes me really sad. And I hope the fishies don't die. So everybody needs to pray for rain in Lake Powell and the Colorado River in Arizona and Utah, please. Okay. So
Not just for her, for the
well,
for the
no,
fishies.
for the fish. It's, I mean, like, it's so beautiful. It is such a beautiful area. Anyway, I'm very sad. So he had to cancel, and
It was
gonna
110
be-
here yesterday.
I know it was going to be my birthday trip. So I don't have anything to do with my birthday now next week. So Mark's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, maybe we can go to Prescott or do something fun. So we're gonna do something, but not fish. So I said to him, I was like, do you have availability in October? Because I know October is pretty much the end of his season, right? And I said that not to just be selfish about, because I still want to go fishing, I don't care, but to say you will have revenue in October. Like,
Yeah.
I will pay you money, which, and I said, I'm so sorry this happened. And he goes, you're telling me? It's like, I've fished these waters for 55 years. He said, my whole career has been around this fishery. And so he must be really
So all of
stressed
his
and
summer
hurting.
fishing is
All
the
of his
trips.
summer fishing is gone. Yeah. So all of July, all of August, and all of September, or maybe through September. So
Unless
I
it
wrote him,
starts raining a lot.
so I wrote him back, and I was like, I looked at my symphony schedule because we open in October, and I looked at my schedule and I said, I can do the 1st, the 8th, and the 22nd. You tell me when, and I will be there. And he wrote back. He goes, I have the 1st open. I'll put you down. I'm like, yes. So I'm transferring all my hopes and dreams to October 1st. So that was my sad story. And then the other day I woke up and my darling girl had broken her violin bow.
Not just broken the hairs.
Broke the she dropped
Crack
it.
the wood. Or,
Yeah. So we were sad. We were sad. It was a beautiful bow. But the really cool thing is there's a professional string quartet. I will refrain from saying the name of them, but they are fabulous, and they are there, and they were there last year, so she knows them very well. And they are so kind. One of them lent her a bow, so she's using his, as she calls it, Ferrari of a bow right now, which she really loves. And the other one arranged with a bow maker she knows in New York to get the bow sent to New York and have it looked at / evaluated for the insurance company is what we'll say. So at least we have that resource, and she wasn't all alone trying to figure out what to do about it. So it's really so nice. And Hannah was saying, in a world where sometimes there's crotchety old grumpy musicians that don't care anymore, these people are this shining example of kindness. And okay, it's the Brentano String Quartet. And I tell you that because if you can patronize them by listening to their music on Spotify or buying any of their recordings or going to see them live, you should, because they are the most excellent people and treat all their students with this, that they come across in these festivals. They just treat them so well, and so kind people, wonderful people. So I guess it's probably really not reparable. They said, like, it's probably going to be a huge reduction in value. So we're probably going to go bow shopping in the fall. But that's a whole nother story. So
But
that was
she
my-
doesn't have to go, oh my God, I need to get a bow now.
Yeah, so she has some time. And so I mean, she has a backup bow. Don't
Yeah,
get me wrong.
yeah,
She's
but
got, she's
not-
got another one, but it's not as nice. So anyway, that was our drama for the week. And I'm so sad about my fishing trip. But that's why I was like, since I'm not making you spend money on fishing trips, can I get some yarn? And he's like, yeah. So that's why I'm going to go.
On a good note,
Yarn shopping.
we had a very nice 4th.
Oh yeah, 4th of July. How was your 4th of July? Ours was great. It was not like, I saw this video on Twitter of these people lighting like major fireworks, like the kind that go way up in the air. Those big on their front lawn.
Did they set their
But-
house on fire?
I don't know, but it fell over, and it shot
Oh yeah.
across the yard, and they all had to get up and run, and then the majority of the firework went like diagonally and landed under the back tire of their car,
Oh my gosh.
and just was like, and it was caught on security camera, and it looked like it was exploding the car. And it's just obscured by smoke after a point, so you can't really see it.
Uh-huh.
But at first they didn't take it seriously. Like they kind of were standing around, and one kid was right by where it landed.
Oh my gosh.
And the first initial, blow happened, and it kind of like hit him in the back of the leg, and he was like, and he ran away. Then he ran away, and there's still a man there looking like, woo.
Did you hear about the
And then he
guy that
runs away.
lit a firework on the top of his head?
No.
Killed him.
It killed him. It blew
He
his
was-
brains.
Yeah, he stuck it on top of his head, and it like the
It went down.
yeah
He thought it was going to go up, and it went down. But
he
you
was
know,
very drunk. Apparently.
yeah, yeah, the things people do when they're drunk. And of course, every 4th of July, people don't take fireworks seriously.
So I will have you know, we had a small fireworks display,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And we were very safe. My husband, he grew up in Maryland where they never had fireworks. We grew up in the Wild West where we had fireworks as kids. So I'm not scared of them. These guys are. This one's scared of them. And I'm not that scared, but I'm also not stupid. And I only buy the little. And we put them in their fire pit here, safe away
right
from
next to the
everybody.
swimming pool.
There's next to the swimming pool. We have water ready. There's concrete all around. We're not. And if they fall over, we're far enough away that and they don't shoot up in the air. They only make fountains. That's as big as I can do is fountains. Because I have a healthy fear of fireworks. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna be stupid. So we had a little fireworks display. It was very cute. And I only bought the little pack. I was gonna buy them, but this year they were so expensive. They were like the pack I bought last year for $20. The size I bought, if I remembered, was like $50 this year. I'm like, no. And then by the time I finally, because I was like, should I do it? Shouldn't I? Should I? Shouldn't I? I don't know. By the time I finally decided to do it, it was like the day before, and there was only 3 little packs, like $12. No, that's my speed. That's fine. And then Mark got really into it. It's like all in the past, he's like been like, just let me do it, and he's like, but he was like, oh, okay, which one should we do next?
Yeah, and I
You get nervous.
I don't. I like looking at them from far away. I do not look. I sit as far back in our yard as I can, and even then I'm tense the whole time, so I'm not enjoying it. And I've seen some absolutely beautiful firework displays that are put on by communities, or when we were in Belgium, the international base, the Americans put a display that was pretty cool. One of the final things, I don't know how they did it, but it was a Statue of Liberty by a flag. It was pretty cool.
There used to be a nice fireworks display here in your neighborhood over at that park by where you used to live. We used to, when the kids were little, we just walk from the apartment. It was so nice. And this year, 3 cities canceled their fireworks.
And we used to go to one
here?
when I first moved here.
Yeah, over at the South
Chandler.
I remember going to see one when I think Eli was little. I came to visit you. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
But it
sitting
was-
on a curb or something.
But it was the one over there at Tumbleweed Park. I went twice.
Your battery died once.
The first time my battery died, and they had already gone because they were in.
Wasn't I with you though?
They were in the handicap parking because of their son, and I was not. And I got to the car, and
That's before we had a big enough car for all of us to travel.
it was
Yeah. Okay.
the dreaded click. And the
so
second
just-
time,
Wait, but informative announcement. In Arizona, your battery will
not mine.
might die after a good summer or two. Or
I moved
3.
here in July, and that was
The following.
the following July.
Yeah. It's just the heat takes your batteries. And it's like one of those things, like check the battery. And if you don't, it's okay. But when you turn over, that's why. When you turn over your car and it won't go, that's why. Your battery's gone.
When I moved here,
Yours
I moved
died?
here in October, and I hadn't been here very long. Just maybe, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks, a few weeks, I don't know. But because I was looking for a job, and the first interview that I had, I was, supposed to go to this interview, and I went out, and my car would
Yep.
not start. And fortunately, Naomi was home, and I was like, ah!
Yeah.
So she rescued me, and it worked after that, I think. But just, I went to Walmart and got a new battery.
I don't buy
Right
expensive
away.
batteries for that reason.
Yeah.
It's gonna go out. If you buy a battery with the warranty of like 2 years, it'll go a year and 3/4. But the second time that we went to that park, so it was a year later, Robert was late elementary school, but I mean, he wasn't a baby, but he was little still.
Young enough to enjoy it.
Yeah. And we were there, and again, they were in the handicap parking, we were in the other parking, and it's a huge, well, I don't know now, I haven't been in ages. It's a huge park, and the parking for the fireworks is like expanded parking. And what they had done that year is they made these, it was on a dirt area, and they had made these earthen berms, in between so that people would park in rows. I couldn't remember where my car was. There were no lights.
So dark.
It was very dark because this is like not in a super populated area, which is why the fireworks.
It was
look
so packed. It's not like I could put you in my car and drive you around to find your car because all the traffic coming
I
out.
think you didn't even know that we were having this issue.
Yeah.
I couldn't find my car. And you couldn't just like, when you can't find your car, is it this road, or that road? Because I had a general idea, but these were very long rows. And I wasn't going to let my son walk by himself. and
pitch black, and
here we are trying to cross to another row, climbing. The things were like tall.
And also keep in mind that in July,
it was
like
very,
100
very
degrees
hot.
or more at night with the sun down, and you're walking, and it's so hot.
And afterward, I told her, I will never go to this display again. I'll go to a smaller one with paved parking. But yeah, that was.
I don't think we've been back since we did those. We haven't been to a display.
I did not enjoy sitting waiting because
So hot.
Unbelievably hot, and I certainly did not enjoy finding my car later, either time. So I was like, this is no fun. I'll watch them on TV.
when in Little Rock, what was really nice is that it was both not nice and very nice. It was not nice in the fact that we were sweating like dogs and we had to play.
Your orchestra.
And orchestra, yeah. And so, and for the 4th of July, when I first went there was it was some combination. I think, well, the Democrat Gazette, which is the newspaper there, was one of the sponsors, and there were because there was somebody that I knew, like from church or something, that worked for some advertising company, and they were one of the sponsors of this fireworks display for the Pops on the 4th thing. And so every year we had T-shirts that said Pops on the 4th or something like that, and Pops on the River, or whatever it was called. And so we wore for the concert, we wore those T-shirts, whatever T-shirt for that year, and did the concert. And then at some point, I guess they stopped sponsoring or whatever. and so so we had to wear like white over khaki or black pants or bottoms, whatever, but then white. And they were like, of course, because of the orchestra, there's all kinds of rules about how long your sleeves got to be and what has to be buttoned up and not a t-shirt and blah. And I remember the first time they did it, with the dress code thing, they were saying something about upper middle class clothing, right? And I'm like, A, that's very rude, and B, you don't pay me like an upper middle class person. Thank you very much. But anyway,
pay me just below the poverty line. That's how I'm gonna dress. Oh my gosh! So you're wearing white, and your clothes are sticking to you because it's so humid, and like you're sweating like a dog. Bugs are flipping around, when you're trying to play, and if you're lucky, a bug won't go in your mouth, and they're like landing on music, and stuff. But yeah, so and then I remember one year they changed because we used to do we did Riverfest, which is they have a festival over the Memorial Day weekend, and at the end of Riverfest, the orchestra plays. So they have I guess semi has-been rock bands that would play before us, and then we were the very last thing on the program. And so because we would play as it was getting dark, and then they would do fireworks, and then they changed it so that the rock groups were last on the program, and so we went a little bit earlier. Because nobody wanted to listen to the orchestra. They wanted to, get drunk and listen to the rock bands. I see. So
the first year they did that, of course, it was earlier in the day. So we were on this little bandstand down by the river, in this park, and the cello players were facing the setting sun, and that sun was hitting their instruments, and they're like, we can't play this. It was too hot. Their cellos are threatening to come apart
Yep.
And so I think, I don't know if they changed the position of us on the stage or something, or so that wouldn't happen again or whatever. But yeah,
the weather is awful, especially last year where Hannah is this summer in Connecticut. It rained and rained and rained and rained and rained, and she's like, my shoes are ruining. But everyone's cellos and violins just turned to mush. Like she's like, my violin is soggy. It's not it was horrible. She said it was just awful.
Well, what was with the Pops on the River stuff, 4th of July wasn't too bad because it was really just. I think they had a military band or something like that, and maybe the youth symphony or something, but then we were last on the program. And it was kind of nice because we would always do the 1812 overture.
Right.
So at the end, as it gets to the part where in the overture there's cannons and they go off, whatever. So they would do that, but they would set off the fireworks in time with that. So, but it was really nice because there was they made these pedestrian bridges, and so the one that was closest to the bandstand was the one that everybody wanted to be on because the next bridge over was where they set the fireworks off.
Yeah.
So it was a really good view. But what was nice is that because I lived downtown, I would walk down there because I would drive to a certain point and then walk the rest of the way. But it was nice because the traffic wasn't bad, but you had to be really, really clever about about your timing and how,
Yeah.
But
those are fun. Those kind of concerts. New Mexico used to do that all the time.
When I lived on 7th Street, this guy that I knew, Ernest Lamb, lived on 6th Street. So, a lot of times we would walk back together or whatever. But one time we went, and it was threatening to rain off and on all day. But the concert doesn't get called off unless it's actively raining. You have to wait and you have to show up and unless it's just pouring. But so we had walked all the way, gone all the way down there. And when I lived on 7th Street, I used to walk the whole way because it wasn't worth it to drive. And but so we got all the way down there, and then we were there on the bandstand, and it started raining, and it was like raining on, it was hitting the musicians on the bandstand. So they finally called it off. So Ernest and I
who's going to listen?
Yeah, I know. Nobody's going to sit out there and listen in the rain. So Ernest and I were walking back, and I remember I had an umbrella. He didn't have an umbrella, so we were like underneath, walking back.
Do you remember when we went to see Tim at the Balloon Fiesta? It was too windy for balloons, and there was a group that played before Tim. I think they were a military band.
Yeah, military band.
Yeah, nobody was there listening to them.
Except my daddy.
Well, yeah, Dad enjoyed it. But I was like, these guys are here in this horrible weather. It was cold. It was windy.
Yeah.
And, for instruments, not for, yes, there's certain things, guitars and mics and stuff, they can get electrocuted. But the instruments, they're not meant to be out in that, in that weather. Excuse me. I have this horrible cough. I'm so sorry.
We have in the symphony there was a temperature clause in the contract, but if it's above a certain temperature or below a certain temperature, we don't play.
Yeah.
And one time we had a small group that was playing for an opening at the hospital. They had built a new hospital in this one area, and they wanted us to play in the lobby during this, as they were, it was an open house, I guess, for this hospital. And so we were tucked in this little corner, but we were right by the doors. So the doors kept opening and closing and opening and closing as people came in. And it was either winter time or early spring or something, but it was cold outside. And so every time those doors would open, cold air would come in. And so it was freezing in this little alcove area that we were in. And it was so cold. And the oboe players were like, our oboes will crack if we, because you have hot air on the inside and cold air on the outside, and that'll crack an oboe or clarinet. And the guy who was playing timpani was like, we don't want to be the jerks though that say, oh, we don't want to play. So I think we played a little bit, and then after a while it was, I think when we took a break, they were trying to adjust the temperature or whatever. And so after that we played a little bit, and then we left because it was just too cold.
Yeah, he does be temperamental musician.
Look what she brought me.
Oh, you got your little ball. So cute. All right, Rogue, we'll stop so you can play.
Yeah.
So cute.
I was hoping
Don't scratch.
I was hoping I would be done with this
You
because
don't talk and stitch at the same time.
No. I had to undo everything. I undid one part of one wisp because I thought, well, that's not right because it's too far apart, right? So I realized I had put one stitch too many. So then I redid it, and I fixed that, and I was doing it, and I was like, it's still too high. And what it was is I had put an extra stitch down here too. So I undid everything, and
I spent a long time trying to take out a knot, and finally I just pulled it tight so that I could get it.
That's what I said. If I can't undo it, if I try and I can't undo it, I just pull it really tight so it's small, and it'll go through the hole. And if I'm lucky, it'll be on the back.
I found that knot in this yarn, and while we were talking, I looked up a video of how, and look, it actually wound up on the front of how to join it without with a little knot. It's like a magic knot, they call it, but it's right here on the edge, and I don't think anyone will ever see it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't want to do like it's hard in this, and I'm like, it's on the bottom.
Yeah.
No one's ever gonna notice.
And
So
if
I
they
did
do,
it.
so what?
Yeah.
If they say, look, that sweater has a knot at the bottom.
Well, you know, the only danger is it
It coming apart.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think it's okay.
So I've gotten a little bit farther on this. I had no intention of stitching on this today, the boot crew. But I'm like, I have all this stuff, and you know how you were talking about, you're working on this and you're working on that, but you really want to start these things. I really want to start these. But, I got all
the new ones.
Uh-huh.
You mean?
But I got all this stuff, and honestly, I have not felt good. I'm not sick. I don't know why I have this cough. I've been taking asthma medicine to see if it'll help. But I don't feel like I have a fever or anything like that. But the cough sounds worse today than it has. But there has been everything from South Mountain blowing past my house. We have had some not super high winds, just never-ending winds.
Yeah.
And we live very close to, it's called South Mountain. It's more like South Hill. And I think on some parts of it, it's high enough to actually count as a mountain.
Have
but
you ever been to the top?
yes.
Okay. Well, it's pretty big.
But over here,
It's the foothills.
It's
Hence
South
the name
Hill.
of your church.
It's called South Hill. But it's mostly dirt. And so when the wind blows, because it's desert vegetation, when the wind blows, it all comes into our swimming pool and into my lungs. So I think that's mostly what's going on, is my lungs are protesting the dirt that's constantly blowing through. Yeah.
I'm excited because I'm in this is row 9 out of 13, and then I'm going to bind this off, so I will be finished with this today. So excited.
So
I just sent her a big box though of all these snacks, including juicy boxes. Don't tell the post office. I sent juice boxes. Anyway, I sent her a box of snacks. I'm like, this is so heavy. You're going to need a friend to help you carry it. But then I'll have to send her another one with this top. So that'll be fun.
how long is she there?
6 weeks. So 5 more weeks.
It reminds me of my favorite Chew commercial. Where
I know.
the little dog,
Peanut butter
the big
boxes
dog, the big dog and the
here.
little dog. The little dog's name was Giorgio. That's my favorite. Giorgio, a peanut butter box is here.
So I probably won't get this out again for a while, because after this is over, I am going to work on Silent Night. I was going to work on that
I
today.
was like, should I go buy yarn right now for something that's a month away? Should I?
I want to go to Hobby Lobby, but I
Should I?
cannot.
Should I? Should I?
I figured this is all for this week. That bee and that little ghost.
Do that.
And I said, well, that's little enough. I might even get it done while we're doing the video. No, because mistakes and knots. But doesn't matter.
That's what I was.
If I get this done in the time of the stitch along, which I'm not, but if I do, great. And if I don't, Halloween is months away. So.
And it happens every year.
It happens every year. I'm so excited. Okay, this is almost done. Mission accomplished. Almost accomplished.
I like
it.
it.
No longer looks like a bra.
It's pretty. Yeah, it doesn't look like a bra anymore. My son,
It was so funny.
he was on his way to a baby shower. And he goes, is this a thing? Am I that old now? I'm like, yeah. But, it is a newer thing that I still, to me, guys at a baby shower kind of freak me out. I'm glad that guys go to the baby shower. I think that it helps them be involved with
Of course.
everything. So it doesn't bother me that they are. It's just, you're going to what? I would love to see a child of yours, but not for 10 years or so.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another week
Yes.
of our silliness. And we hope you have a good week. And even though I won't be fishing next week, I will be happy to be back next week with no fish and no fishing pictures. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.